5 at First, here at First Baptist Church of Claxton, Georgia. And today I want to walk through this idea of what is it we're supposed to do as Christians, right? When you look into Scripture, especially in the New Testament, Jesus challenges the law that Judaism had at the time, and just the extensive amount of rules and regulations that were given and that needed to be obeyed in order to be a follower of God. But through Jesus' ministry, he challenges this first by addressing and summarizing the 10 commandments into just 2. When he's asked what the greatest commandment is, his response is, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. But later on in the book of John, we see him expand this idea of love your neighbor as yourself just a little bit more. And along with following that commandment, he gives a promise. And so starting in John chapter 15, verses 12, going through verse 15, I'll read along if you want to just join with me. It says, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that someone laid down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. No longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what his master is doing. But I have called you friends, for all that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you." And like I said, he expands on the second commandment just a little bit. It says, love one another as I have loved you, right? And Jesus loved us to the point of dying on the cross. And so we have the first commandment that Jesus gives of love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and understanding that God is the one thing you are pursuing over everything else. Nothing gets in the way of your pursuit of God. That's a big deal. That's a big commandment. That is something we are going to struggle with and fail with time and time again. But we have to consciously keep making that effort to push towards that goal. And so if we have that vertical relationship understood, then the second commandment, our horizontal relationship, is to love others as you would love yourself. Or, as Jesus puts it later on, to love one another as I've loved you. Understanding that caring for people is so important. That caring for others around us is how we show the love of God. It's how we show that we belong to God. He tells his disciples later that they will be identified, they will be known through their love for each other. And this is an emphasis that Jesus places constantly on those that follow him, that they love, that they care for those around them. But the promise he gives with this commandment, if you are loving others as I loved you, if you are loving others as Christ has loved you, to a sacrificial point, then what Jesus says is that I'll call you friend. Right? You're no longer servants. You no longer belong to God. You are now part of the family. Right? You're welcomed into the family. Right? You now know what it is God is doing. You are aware of the ways that God is moving, the way that he is moving you and those around you, what he wants you to do. It's an awareness of who God is and how he's moving when we choose to love the way Jesus loved us. And I just think that's such a good promise for us to kind of hold firm to, that we love God over everything, that we pursue God over everything, but then those around us, that we love the way Jesus loved us, that we love in a sacrificial manner. And in doing so, our eyes are opened to who God is, to what he's doing, and to where he's leading us. That's the promise. That's the calling of the Christian, but that's also the promise to the believer. Thank you for joining us today.